Okay, welcome to the show today. We have our first battle against our dogs. We wanted to see what went wrong on this one, so I'm going to try to point that out. Um, and then we have a special, at least one dual-sided battle with LOK. Um, Very well called battle, and we'll show you the details of that one when this one's done. We'll try to cut in both sides when we get to that one. So the initial call here, we're facing 3 heavies, Thunderbolt, 2 Croms, and a Type 64. Our Type 64 is going to go out into the middle and try to spot. Everybody else is going to post up here for now and try to get shots on what he spots. So it's kind of just a sit and wait for a minute while he goes out and does his thing. And right off the bat, we spot their Type 64, and everybody misses. Oh, somebody finally shot him. He got tracked. I miss again. He should have been dead there. We all muffed it. So there's number 1. So based on the number of shots that they saw coming in, he pretty much knows where we are or where we were when he spotted us. And without any further information, because he didn't see the tanks moving from the east to the west, we're going to go post up over here. We're going to keep the Cromwells up high. We're going to send the 3045s down low. Spot the Type 64 again. I'm going to poke around and see if I can get a shot on him. Apparently he's a little better than me because he sinks a shot on me. And right now we don't have any idea where they are, but except we're playing with this Type 64. Okay, so we spot at least one of their heavies. Bad trade there on Commodore's part. He's in trouble now. And then we see, I'm going to pause it right here. The Cromwells just popped up in the middle. So at this point in time, we have the 2 Cromwells and the Type 64 that are not in the battle. So we've essentially got 6 tanks. You can see 4 of them right there. Where's the 6th one? 6th one's back there sniping. And we have 6 tanks on what we project to be 4 tanks. So the call is immediately to go push them because we have a numbers advantage. And this is one of the few cases where numbers advantage does not work out in our favor. If you look, right now we have spotted the Tiger 131, the KV-85, and the Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt has a lot of armor on it. It's very hard for a Cromie to pen, at least without shooting gold. We can pen the sides of any of them. Frontally, a lot of them are tough. And we're starting with Commodore being down already to a 1-shot, and we've only put like 1 shot into their tanks. So the call is to push, and we push. Light up the other KV-85. I choose to go around the outside because it's awful crowded on the inside. And you see we already lost 1 tank. The 1 KV-85 is half health, and still we only have really 2 guns. Maybe, yeah, we only have 2 guns shooting on them, and we're already down a tank. So I come in. The call right here is everybody shoot the KV-85. With the traffic there, I don't have a shot, so I switch up and shoot the other KV-85. Try to spin around. I take a shot in payment, get ammo racked. We finally kill that one. And now we have 3 tanks shooting, 1 still coming in, and they still have 3 tanks alive and 1 still coming in. So now we're outnumbered, and those Cromwells aren't even here yet, and the Type 64 is just running for his life. So we do our best here. We lose another tank. We're outnumbered against heavies. And now we just have the 1 Cromwell who never really got his gun into the fight. And they're down to 3 tanks, and we have the Type 64, but he's way outnumbered too. And they just beat up on us from here. So essentially it was a good call to push because we had the numbers, although it was difficult because they were heavies and we were Cromwells. But because of the early damage that the first tank took, being already down to a one-shot before we pushed, and the fact that we had the one on the hill as he was coming down the hill, he was effectively out of the fight, and so that were left 4 other tanks, and we just did not push in together and well. It was more like we pushed in 4 tanks one at a time. I know that the spacing was, it seemed like we all pushed together, but in a case like that, it really was not quite as together as we would have liked. Even myself, coming from the top part, I didn't get shots in until late. So that's what went wrong. So even though we had the numbers, and it's a battle that we all thought we should have won, we failed for those, basically for those reasons. Okay, now we have our next battle, which is going to be our first against LOK. This battle actually happened before the last battle you just saw, and it is not the one that I have both angles from. But we saw LOK. They have actually 4 members of their regular team, plus a couple of Legionnaires. And you saw our initial call. We're going to send people off to the right, and our scout's going to go off to the middle to try to find them. We've skirmished against LOK a lot. It seems like every night W-UNI skirmishes against them, and every night W-UNI2 skirmishes, they face them. We lose a lot to them. They are much better than us. So at this point, we're just getting into position. The 2 light tanks see each other. Then we spot the 3485s, and as soon as those 3485s get spotted, we decide that we're going the wrong way. So we're going to turn around and go take up defensive positions. And the defensive positions are already a little bit predetermined. You saw the clicking. Tank 943 is going to go up in the hills. We're going to get a couple of tanks there, a couple of tanks there. Basically going to get as defensive as we can get and wait for them to push in on us. Now, one thing we've learned, Warhead Iron, with LOK, he's a very good caller. They got spotted there, and we're telling each other, don't be at all surprised if they turn around now and go flank us on the other side. So now it's pull up a bush or knock down a tree and pull up a tree and wait for the enemy. Now our scout lived, but he's not actually scouting right now. He's going to make a small scout up the 90 line. He's not in the middle because he got in trouble with the Type 64. So like I said, we're not actually scouting. So we're kind of blind, and we kind of have no map control. We just have this one little corner. We have pretty good vision. The Cromwell up in the mountain there can see a little further than what you see highlighted for me. Sending a T-37 on a little scouting foray. Seems like these games with LOK, patience is the key. We spot the Type, and he's just scouting. And our targeting sucks as usual. Like in the last game, I think we were really rusty. We've all been used to playing our Tier 8 frontline tanks. And I know for myself in this Cromwell, the shell velocity is just horrible in comparison to a lot of other tanks. And I had difficulty adjusting. So somebody's got spots on these guys. I missed a small opportunity there. That would have been a tough shot for a Cromwell to feather it in there anyways. But you can't hit shots you don't take. So now if you see the grouping here, we've seen almost all their tanks. 2 tanks we haven't seen up at this next one. There's a 3485 and a Cromwell that have not been relit. We're going to try to drop the RD on Shadowblade here, see if it does any good. Oh, there's a 3485. and he's trying to come up in a position to snipe us a little bit later. And he's already gotten there without getting spotted. He just needs to stay safe at this point. He's kind of like a little reserve insurance policy for them. Once we come out in the open, he'll have shots. I still haven't seen the Cromwell. And we're gonna, I think they're teasing us right now. They're just making sure they get lit every now and then, so we're keeping our mind on them. Cromwell gets lit by our T-37 up north. Right away, we dispatch one of the 3045s to go help our T-37. No sense of making him go at this alone. And they make a little push up the hill here. They get punished for it. I should have assumed I was spotted as soon as I shot the first time, but stubborn me. So we see 2 tanks up there. We dispatched another 3045 to the north. At this point, we have 4 of their tanks accounted for, and the third one just went and got spotted in the north. So now we're pretty much trying to tell everybody to go up there and fight. And so we've got 4 on 3 here in the north. Actually, 1, 2, 3, or 5, what should end up being 5 on 3. One of the 3045s is slow to get over there. It wasn't initially that we were sending everybody as soon as that extra tank started going over there. So technically, it's even still, it's 5 on 4 over there. And if you see, the exact opposite here happens that happened in the last game. So now, instead of pushing like they should have into the overmatch, they're all standing back and they're doing poor pokes and they're getting hit from the guys behind. If they had pushed in, now I don't have a good video of it, but if they'd actually pushed in, then the other 3045s would not have had shots on them, and they would have had the initial overmatch. But because they tried to play the corner game instead of pushing in, all the other tanks had shots on them, and they just weren't able to overcome. Especially a good clan like LOK, little things like that make a big difference. And that's pretty much the end of that. Yeah, you saw one of them shot their own guy. Having fun. And we'll just show you tank get demolished here. And on to our next battle. So now we're going to have LOK again. This time, this is a well called on both sides. Unfortunately, we come out on the bad end again. But so we have LOK. We're very familiar with them. We're going to send our scout towards the city. The rest of us are going to be in support positions on a little hill, and a few to the side. The concern here, they do have 2 Cromwells and the Type 64, so if we all commit too far on the left-hand side, they could always sneak up behind us. Not too worried about getting back to the cap. It's a very wide open area from this direction. That was actually brought up, so we discussed it. So we're going to get in position here. Tank's going to run into scout. And on his initial scouting run, very aggressive, spots their type. I was a little late getting on focus. There's a Cromwell over there that also got spotted. And I track him. I think we'll see later what happened there. That was the me not shooting gold is the reason that didn't pen. Yeah, we'll see later how much damage we actually did to him. If we had actually connected to all the shots we fired, he would have been dead. So tank gets destroyed. We had been hoping to get some shots out of that. Everybody was either too far back or under cover of some sort, so we didn't have shots on them. That was well played by them. And we are down our scout. So the good news about being down your scout when the scout is your caller is that he gets to concentrate on calling instead of actually scouting. So at this point, it's LOK. LOK's been spotted. they're going to move. We don't know exactly where they're going to move to, but we discuss it quickly. I mentioned to Tank, I said, Tank, they're going to move. He says probably, and here's our plan. It takes a little while to develop, but we're going to send the Cromwells up into the city, I believe, and scout it out. This is such a strong position that right off the bat we're not going to give up this position. It's going to take them a while to traverse the entire map, so time-wise we're not too concerned about them getting back there. And I've got the replay of this, and you'll see, or you get the opportunity to see what it is that they did. So our Cromwells are exploring. The one you saw went furthest to the north. That's probably a little bit of a mistake. I mean, we didn't pay for that mistake, but we have four tanks back here in support of you. When you go that deep into the city, suddenly you're not supported. As long as you stay on the outside, we're still supporting you. So keep in mind when you're playing these skirmishes where your support is coming from and if you have it or not. There's going to be times your commander will tell you to go somewhere where you're not supported, but when you have support and you're going to a potentially dangerous area, try to stick with that support. So at this point, they've totally not seen anything. I had long since assumed they were gone. Tank was a little more stubborn than me. So now our fallback plan, we're going to send one Cromwell, and that's me, and one 30-45 into the ditch over here. That's going to be our spotters and our take an occasional shot guys. And the other ones are going to line up on the hill, facing towards us. Trying to get the Cromwells to come back and be with the 30-45s on the hill. And I'm going to pull up a bush. I'm now the lead spotter here. So now we know where they're not. So we haven't completely given up map control. We actually have a certain percentage of it. We have one Cromwell on the other end trying to spot them, trying to see what's up. And I believe he gets spotted in return there when he spots that 30-45. And now we spot somebody over here. And I'm holding my shot here on purpose. I'm in a good bush. I'm not being spotted by them. I don't want to shoot at this point in time and reveal my position while the 30-45s are getting shots. Let them feast. Now I get spotted, and you'll see the results of that. Turns out I should have fired that last one I had a chance at. The guy that spotted me, he paid for that. He's now down to a one shot for a 30-45, 2 shot for a Crommy. Now I'm going to try to respot. I'm in a different bush now. I'm going to be a little more active. So remember, we spotted the 30-45 at the other end. He hasn't had time to come over here yet. And we spotted these 3 tanks, maybe 4, I think 3 tanks over here. And now I'm just doing the poke and spot routine. And hopefully to not get shot. Hopefully poke in a different spot each time. We're getting damage. I'm getting assistance for that. And actually, other than having lost our scout, we're in a good position right now. We haven't taken that much damage, and we've done a decent amount of damage to them. And when we see their end of the replay, you'll see how much damage we actually had done to them. I didn't realize at the time how low some of their tanks were. It explains actually why they're not pushing on the two of us that have been spotted in this ditch. So I mean, a good team is going to know. They know we're in this ditch. I've been spotted. I'm sure my other 3045 with me has been spotted, and they've all been getting shot from the hill in the middle. So they know we're broken up. And the types, I got a shot on the Cromwell. The Type 64 got spotted in the middle. And Carlos pays for that little spotting. He's down to a one shot. And bad leading on my half. I should have connected more of those. It's unfortunate. And the replay here, I was playing around a little bit with the camera angles, so my gun's not always pointed in the direction that I'm looking. And I get hit from behind. Now we're down to 2 minutes, and the push is coming. So they have two tanks pushing on what should have been our 3 tanks, but we had sent one out to scout a little bit. And they're not pushing our other 2 tanks. They were very low health. You'll see why in a second. And there's another 3045 over there, far away. I don't remember why that Cromwell is all the way back in the city like that, if he was told to scout or if he did that on his own. Basically, he's off fighting his own battle now, so that's never a good thing. And here I am trying to get shots on these guys in front of me, which is good. We needed to prevent these guys from pushing too hard. So I had a shot on who was that, Chubby. But I didn't have shots on the other guys, so we wasn't able to protect Plymouth and the other guys over there. And as soon as I get lit, here they come from behind. Actually, they started pushing and we didn't know. Now I'm down to 1 hit point. And we're getting pushed. Commodore, I tried to get a shot in and it fails. And then I miss. And he's just going to ram me here. Ooh, fun, joy. And the end of that. So that was kind of tense. It went down to the wire. It's very interesting to see what happens on the other side and how they played this. One of these days I'm going to get in a skirmish with them and hear how Warhead comes up with some of these ideas and how quick he is. I know he's really quick on the trigger with the RD usually. So now he's telling his guys where to go and where to look. I sent a couple guys to their hill, look, and they want to be looking and try to spot in case we send a light tank to the middle there. And Chubby Panda here picks a bush with his buddy Carlos and their Cromwells. And here their type spots our type, and we watch this from the other side. Some great driving there by tank. It's unfortunate we weren't able to support him. There we go, somebody bounced off of the, then we tracked him. He repairs, he gets hit again. But if you look at his stats, he bounced 2 shells from Cromwell's. If we'd have been firing APCR, we wouldn't have bounced, and he'd have been almost dead, if not completely dead, between the tracking shot and the 2 bounces. And now Tank's taking his punishment. He got a couple shots into Warhead, but we weren't able to support him as well as we would have liked. And you saw him click. He was clicking where we were, so everybody knows where they were taking shots from. And now he's going to reposition everybody. It's like, okay, if they're going to play there, we're going to go around and flank them. Now sometimes good clans like this, they'll play with you. They will do the flank, but they might leave somebody back to poke every now and then, just so you think that they're still there. In this case, there was nothing for a long period of time. There was no peeking, no poking, no nothing. That's why I was suspicious the whole time. Tank was more careful than I would have been, which was good. Don't know. I don't know that being any quicker on us moving would have done any, really made much of a difference. We weren't going to be chasing after them anyways. So you see, here you see them being careful. Chubby Panda was out ahead of everybody else, so he pulled up a bush, took a pause, waited for a partner. Now you're going to see them pause here and wait for their Type 64 to come up and do the spotting for them. Cromwells have pretty good vision, but they don't have the camo, and they definitely don't have the camo on the move. So letting the Type 64 go up in front of them, he's got the camo, he can get away with a lot more than they can get. And he's going to pull up a bush while everybody else slowly pulls up a bush and or waits back. And they have a couple of trailing 30-45s. Everybody else is right up here. And onwards they go. Everybody on this team is very good about pulling up bushes. They don't ever stop if they don't have a bush. Shadowblade pulls to the next hill. Nothing there, so it's time to move on. I think that affirmative means that he got spotted. So they're going to be a little more careful. I don't remember spotting him there though, so maybe the affirmative was to something else. Pretty much stick with your buddies. That's why you're seeing them jockeying around here. Cromwells don't want to be running into stuff all by themselves before the 30-45s get there. And they left those other two tanks back there on the rails in case we decided to push. They have something that can repel us for long enough for their other tanks to get back. Or at minimum to spot us before dying, but more than likely they could repel us for a little while. Long enough to react anyways. Okay, so now they have 4 tanks up here. They've got their Type 64 spotting. Or trying to spot. And our tank here gets spotted first. It's Cromwell. He pauses, he lets everybody know he got spotted. He pauses to drop his spot, then he pushes out again, gets spotted again, and gets shot. And as soon as he gets shot, you'll see he's going to click the map and tell everybody where he got shot from. So everybody knows he got shot from there. At this point, they don't know, well now they do, that we were in the ditch. So now they know that we're in the ditch. And I pay for that, but I spotted some of their other tanks, if you recall. And you look at Duzalog over there, took some really serious punishment. He's down to being he's the one down to being a 1 shot for 30-45, maybe a 1, maybe 2 shot for Cromwell. Cromwell would have to roll pretty high to kill him, actually. And he's signaling for his 30-45s to come around and flank us. One's in the north, and I'm just doing the poke thing we talked about earlier. So you're going to see me pop up on the screen every now and then. In exchange, they're getting revealed and hopefully shot. Now they have their groupings. They've got 2 30-45s in the north. They have the Cromwell and the Type over here, and they've got a Cromwell and the 2 30-45s in the south. See in the background, I knocked down that tree. And you hear the shot? They blind shot it even though they couldn't see me. I'd like to say that I did that on purpose, but I knew as soon as I knocked down the tree I better move, so I did. Sometimes you wonder if people can see these things, and they definitely see them, because they'll shoot a tree that falls down every time if they see it. Artie will too. So now the Type and the Cromwell were trying to position themselves to shoot these two tanks that they highlighted. You can see the Type's getting shots on our Cromwell, and our other Cromwell is running towards the city away from the 3485s. And this guy that we're following here, he's trying to sneak up on our tanks that are on this hill. He gets spotted. Somebody gets a shot into me. At this point, we want desperately to protect our other tanks. With what's spotted, I don't know why our Cromwell was running towards the back like that. And he was firing HE here, which I don't know if he was missing or bouncing that whole time. But now he's on APCR. We tried to drop RD on him, that misses. So we're down our original scout. We're down another tank that was trying to scout. We have a Cromwell in a very bad position in the back. And these guys here on the hill are pretty much surrounded. We're desperate to keep any more from ganging up on them, and we managed to stop that one. But the Type 64 has got a good position there. And unfortunately, our Cromwell and our 3045 here are not in position to support each other. Plymouth is getting shot by the Type. He's getting shot by the Warhead. He finally puts a shot into Warhead and finishes him off. Meanwhile, where I am is getting rushed, and we are dying as well. So now you saw it from both sides. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed these episodes. This is my favorite mode of the game, and I like to share it with everybody. I hope you've learned something. I hope you can take that to your own skirmishes in any time you're not skirmishing against us anyways. Again, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and leave a comment if you feel you'd like to.